Yo, what up, Pete Krampus Carroll? Welcome into the show. Today on Presents with the Peasants, we've got our normal slate of sensational analysis to get through, as well as the return of the Placating the Horde segment. All right, let's get right into these power rankings. Number 1, staying right where he belongs, we've got Kyler. This team with Justin Fields right now is unstoppable. And to quote the man himself, my studs didn't even hit. And he's right. Kyler, if things stay the course for you, you're going to need to make room on the shelf for this beautiful trophy right here. All right, number 2, we've got Adam. Adam, I did promise to move you down last week should you lose to me, and while you did lose to me, you did lose to another juggernaut team. It was a pleasure being your first double loss. And let me look here. Based on the data that we have available at this point, it's clear that your kryptonite is the Welch brothers. When your team hears that they're playing one of the Welch brothers, they very obviously cower in fear and don't show up for the game in an attempt to avoid suffocating embarrassment. Unfortunately for you and for your team, playing each weekend is a requirement regardless of the opponent. Number 3, we've got Kevin. Kevin, welcome back into the top 3, man. This honestly was a close one for me between you and Matt, and I went back and forth between these two teams, but I have more confidence in your team, Mr. Kevin's dream team. It looks like it might be 2020 after all. Given what's going on in the league right now and your roster build, there's a pretty good chance you make it to the championship game. So I'm going to call for you being in second place at this point, probably. Number 4, we've got Matt. Matt, you're getting some good wins in, but you're also having some bad losses. And to be honest, your team composition scares me. While it can work at times to have the best player on a bad team, you have too many of those guys, and I don't know if it ends up securing you a playoff berth. Number 5, up 3 spots, we've got Cody. It's been 8 weeks since I've been able to say Cody's name in the top half of the league, and we're back, Cody. Nice work. You've been sticking with the plan and patiently waiting for Johnny Taylor to get back healthy, and now with that scary running back duo of Taylor and Henry, you could be threatening to anyone who's hoping to win out and get into the playoffs. Keep it up and you might get a shot at a good playoff run, and this could potentially be a top 4 team right here. Number 6, non-mover, Josh. Josh, you lost last week, but you've still got a good roster. You should start to get healthy here towards the end of the year, and you're going to need it. You definitely have a roster build which is boom or bust, and I'm sure you've really felt that roller coaster of emotions this year. Also, thanks again for Tyreek Hill. Number 7, down 3, we've got Joel. This is my favorite worst to first team here. Joel, you've got some exciting pieces on your team here for sure, and you can be threatening to anyone on any given Sunday, but that's just it. I think your team leans a little too much on Lady Luck, and unfortunately that strategy doesn't typically turn into championships. But hey, there's always a chance to get that number 1 pick by winning the consolation bracket. Regardless of your record, man, you've been my favorite team to write about this year, so you're a winner in my heart. Number 8, up 2 spots, we've got Dexter. Dexter, you've won a couple games, and you're right in the mix with everyone else for that coveted playoff spot. Tom Brady seems to be coming out of his funk, which is crucial for your team, and Allen Robinson may have just become the number 1 wide receiver for the Rams, which could be good for you even though the Rams are a terrible football team. I wouldn't be surprised if you sneak into... Wow. Goodness. Sneak into the playoffs. Feels weird to say something not to say something terrible about you, but I guess you're going to get a week off this week. I feel really bad. Hopefully that's not a sign of my Jets losing this week. It better not be. I'm putting this back up. Oh boy. Here, let's go party time. There we go. Now we're partying. Where were we? Number 9, up 2 spots. It's me. I beat Adam. What can I say? Other than Christian freaking Watson. I picked this guy up from waivers last Saturday, and since that point, he's put up 5 touchdowns. This is insane. Yeah, okay, so since the last few playoff spots are essentially up for grabs at this point, I'm hoping my mid-season call for me to be a dark horse and to get into the playoffs comes true. But there's still a lot of football left to be played. Luckily for me, my schedule seemingly eases up after beating Adam, especially that Week 13 game. Talk about hashtag bye week. Number 10, down 1 spot, Sam. Sam, what can I say? Essentially everyone on your team would be great if it was last year. You've got a bunch of names and no talent. And based on you declining a fair trade that I offered you earlier this week, it's obvious to me that you only look at names and not stats. It's not a great strategy. Number 11, up one spot, but only by virtue of this week's rankings and not from earning it. We got Daryl. Daryl, your team seems to be top heavy with talent and then a really steep drop off. There's not enough balance here, which means you've gone from a playoff favorite to a questionable team. All right. And at this point, I'm sure there's one of you out there who's seemingly wondering why they aren't ranked or where they're going to be ranked. And they're saying, surely I shouldn't be ranked number 12 because that just wouldn't make sense statistically. Because if the stats don't show it, then it's not real. So my really good friend and my lifelong brother, Robert Sala, recently said to me, there are two kinds of people in life. There are those who live in faith and those who live in a world of belief. The difference is that people who live in a world of belief need to see things happen before they even think that it's possible. People who live in faith know that it's possible before it even happens. He finished this incredible quote up by saying that people who live in belief cap themselves and people who live in faith have no ceiling whatsoever. So, Mr. Toddy Jones Jr., you keep living in your world of stats belief and I'll keep living in my world of faith, and we will see how week 13 goes when I crush your fantasy hopes. Team Toddy Jones Jr., you will go unranked this week for your crimes against the governing body of this glorious fantasy football league. This league's hope is this punishment will humble him, and as he works to earn back the respect of the league, I accept gold statues in my honor, temples built in your home in my honor, and generally bending the knee as you address me as your grace when interacting with me. All right, it's time for some placating the horde. This week's guest has been a favorite of this show for a long time now. It's Mr. Busted Team himself, Joel. Welcome to the show, Joel. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you on. So how's the journey been so far for you? You've been ranked last in the power rankings and now as high as 4 last week. That's a pretty significant jump. I've really loved your story. You've always been my worst to first candidate, and it's been exciting for me to watch your team. So can you tell us all your secret? What you got? What's going on over there?
Yeah, obviously I had a very rough draft coming into it. And, after a few weeks, it was pretty clear that, I had a couple of boom players and I really needed to shake things up. So I kind of just posted that I was going to do a fire sale. And, that very day I got like 4 or 5 trade offers. And so I just kind of let them all come through. And then at the end of the day, I just accepted the ones that seemed more beneficial for my team. And that really, I think, was kind of a turning point. And then I was able to, kind of make some acquisitions on the waiver wire. Getting Joshua Palmer was really good for me. Getting Kenyon Drake a time or two really helped out. So, I was just playing the waiver and the trades.
Yeah, Drake had a few good weeks there, and Palmer's been pretty good. So what I heard in there is trades. Trades is a secret, and that's good, man. There's been a lot more trading in the league this year, and I love it. It definitely made it a lot more fun. A few players traded hands quite a few times. Oh, and Josh, thank you for Tyreek Hill. Just got to sneak that in there. Back to Joel. Yeah, man, awesome. Well, I'm still loving your story, and there's still a chance for all of us right now. So getting into that, like right now, there's a ton of parity in the league. And at this point, over half of the league is essentially within striking distance of getting into the playoffs. There's 7 of the 12 teams within 2 games of each other, which that could change in 1 week for any of those teams. And we've only got 4 weeks left. So hypothetically, the only team that's truly safe at this point is Adam at 17-3, and then Kyler's next closest was 13-7. Which, if Kyler lost out from here, it wouldn't even be enough to get him in the playoffs, at least hypothetically, right? I mean, he's still probably going to make the playoffs, but there's a non-zero chance that he doesn't. So my question for you is, like, how do you kind of see this all playing out? Do you think that we're going to see some more shakeups, or do you think the teams are kind of where they're at, or they're going to stay where they're at right now?
No, this is going to shake up. I think anything from like 5 through 11 and even 12 is, pretty fair game. This is fantasy football. Anything can happen. Dudes can boom that you weren't expecting to boom, and teams can bust that you weren't expecting to bust. And, there's always the threat of injury and everything like that. So I really think, everyone from 5 to 11 and probably even it would throw in 12 has at least a chance of getting a shot at the playoffs. So it's not over yet.
Yeah, no, man, it's making it super fun, and I completely agree. I mean, I picked up Christian Watson like right before the week started last week, and he's had 5 touchdowns since then. So you never know with these guys. Still buzzing off of that pickup. So you're 100% right. Fantasy football is either the most cruel lover or the most amazing lover you've ever had.
Or both at the same time. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Cool, man. So which team do you think, do you find the most annoying, or like the team that you want to beat the most when you're playing them? Is there like any really good rivalries brewing for your team?
I don't really have like any particular rivalries with an individual person. I do play a lot of Call of Duty with Kevin, and so it always stings to lose to Kevin, and he's talking shit to you in the chat about how bad you're doing in Call of Duty and about how bad you're doing in fantasy football. So you always want to. Yeah, you don't want to hear it double time. Yeah, I hear you. Well, hopefully next time you meet up with that guy, you just annihilate him. You have any teams out there that you actually like, other than your own team, like the kind of we're only enemies when we're playing kind of team? Yeah, I actually really like Kyler's team, and most of that came from me drafting behind him. So I think he was like 5th and I was 6th, and everyone that was on the board for me, like Kyler would just snake for me like right before it was my turn, and it was frustrating at first, but I mean it's good because he's got good draft strategy and he has a really strong team right now, and he could win it all,
Yeah,
Adam's been kind of on the downturn a little bit, so.
Yeah, I would say like Kyler's definitely my choice for, if I had to choose a champion right now, it would probably be Kyler's team if I had to put money on it. It's funny that you mentioned being right behind him, because him and I we have a lot of the same sources for our fantasy news, and so and when we draft, we always want to be as far away from each other when we draft so that we don't have that same problem. So, and it's in the past, it's usually ended up that we're close together. So I totally feel your pain on that one. But anyways, man, so yeah, it's been great having you on. The floor is yours. Anything you want, man. 15 seconds of fame here if you want to give some shout outs. Tell us all how good your team is going to be for the rest of the year, whatever you'd like.
I don't think my team is going to be like the number 1 pick for, winning the championship this year. But, next year, watch out. I got a lot of good sleepers that I'm going to be able to keep. Getting D-Hop pretty late is going to be good for next year. And, the league better watch out.
That's a good point, man. I didn't even really think about that. That's, that's good keeper strategy right there. So I love it. Well, dude, best of luck to you out there this weekend and moving forward. Hopefully you and I make it into the playoffs some way, somehow. We both can just struggle up from the bottom all the way to the top. But it's been good having you on, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for inviting me on. I appreciate it. And Kyler, I hope you lose this week.
Amen to that. All right, man. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Joel, for joining me on the show. Best of luck to you for the rest of the year, brother, and I hope I get to keep writing about success stories for you. All right, it's game picks time. Last week I went 4 for 6. This puts me at 53% for the year, up from 1% from last week. We're getting better, slowly but surely. All right, game number 1, we've got Toddy Jones Jr. himself versus Kevin. This is the game of the week here. Somewhat unfortunately for me. There's some questions here. Does Todd truly have a good team? Should I take Kevin this weekend against my own will? This game, honestly, it really sucks for me. I can't choose the unchosen team, but I can't rely on Kevin either. Can I choose you both to lose? I'm going to take Kevin here. Kevin wins. Game number 2, Kyler versus Joel. Sorry, Joel. I'm just sorry, man. Kyler's players have matchups that are just too good this week. I don't know what to say here. Kyler wins. Game number 3, Dexter versus Cody. Cody, I'm going to take you here. Dexter's on a bye week struggle bus right now, and I don't know if he can piece together a good enough team to fight off your full roster, so Cody wins. Game number 4, Sam versus Daryl. Here's the London game of the week. This is the game no one cares about. You know, this game is going to be a tight one, but I do think Daryl's going to squeeze out a win here, so Daryl wins. Game number 5, Josh versus Adam. I think Adam is going to win this one due to a shootout between the Falcons and the Bears. Josh is going to put up a good fight, but I do think Adam is going to win. Game number 6, myself versus Matt. Matt, half of your guys have a great matchup, and half of them have a bad matchup. I do think this game could go either way, honestly, but I gotta say, I'm pretty nervous about my team, so I do think Matt's going to get the win here. All right, boys, that's it for this week. It's been fun. Hope you guys have fun out there. I'm going to go back to repairing my studio, apparently. This incredible studio that I have here. All right, later.